An 1828 article in the Western Souvenir told of an account from the Potawatomi people which points to the existence of mastodons in recent times. The article says, "The Potawatomi Indians," says the manuscript, "and those who inhabit the country bordering upon the Great Lakes, represent this extinct creature as neither carnivorous nor herbivorous, but a lignivorous animal, called in their language the tree-eater. They say that he sought no object less than the forest itself for food, that he fed upon the limbs and tops of the trees, sometimes consuming trunks, and all that he was slow of pace and clumsy in his movements, never traveling out of a walk, that he was as high as the trees, and had two immense tusks standing in under his jaw, which curved up under his forehead in a circle until they nearly reached his back, and when he moved, these tusks were to be distinctly seen above the forest trees, which bowed, bent, and cracked beneath them, and that, when a large herd of them got together, they consumed whole forests for many miles around, which caused the numerous and extensive prairies to be found in so many parts of the country. According to this tradition, they were of the color of blue clay, had large pendant ears, small keen eyes, a rough and knotted hide, a short tail, and cloven feet. But the most extraordinary organ which belonged to this animal was a huge flexible trunk or proboscis through which he breathed, making a noise after a little exercise, or when excited from any cause, as loud as a high-pressure steam engine. Such was the power and strength of this trunk that they would often wind it round trees and tear them up by the roots. This also served as a pipe or aqueduct by which they conveyed water into their stomachs. They possessed the power of elongating or contracting it at will, and when they wished to drink, they would, sometimes, wade into a river, the deepest of which they easily forded, and take such copious draughts as to check the river in its course. Sometimes they would stand on the bank and extend their trunks, like a hose, into the stream below, and drop the water in torrents until their thirst was slaked. They also had the power of spouting water to a great height through these trunks, and would at times wade into lakes and gambol in the water, spouting it in 1,000 jets, almost to the clouds, which produced the rays of the sun, beautiful rainbows, and fell in the rain and mist at the distance of more than a mile. Their mode of fighting was to lock their trunks together and pull back, and the one which could haul the other out of its tracks became victorious. It sometimes happened that, rather than being pulled out of his tracks, the weaker would let go of his hold of a sudden and suffer his antagonist to fall back upon his rump with a prodigious momentum, from which position it was difficult for him to rise again. When at rest, they coiled them up like a rope and carried them up on their forehead. The tree-eaters were great favorites of the Indians, who used to seek out their accustomed haunts and plant maize in the fields which they had cleared of wood. They were affectionate and docile in their dispositions, and would suffer the natives to run between their legs and to handle and play with their trunks. They would frequently accompany the red men in their hunting expeditions, and when a river laid in their route, would set the whole company upon their backs with their trunks and carry them across the opposite shore. They tell many anecdotes of the instances of individual attachments which were formed by these animals for some favorite Indian, and which evidence a degree of instinct and intelligence far beyond anything of the kind now known to exist in this brute creation.